In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to use the NoiseFX tool to procedurally control different effects in Flair for Maya, quickly adding fluctuations throughout the scene when needed. I'm Henriette from Artineering, and we develop artist-driven tools for stylized rendering. Let's make some noise! That was very unnecessary. Just kidding. In the previous tutorial, we learned how to change attributes of multiple objects at the same time using the bulk attribute tool. This speeds up the material workflow considerably. But what if we want to control things more precisely than just per material? The NoiseFX tool can be opened by clicking on the NFX button within the Flair shelf and shows all the effects that can be art directed within the shader style. The amount of sliders and buttons might seem scary at first, but it is quite straightforward and you will groove like a DJ before long. Each controllable effect within the active shader style is contained in individual segments. That is why some Flair styles will have different noise effect widgets. All noise effect widgets work in the same way. So let's break them down with the density as a clear example. Before we start though, I need to highlight that art direction will only work with Flair materials, not with normal Maya or Arnold materials, so make sure you're working with Flair materials to follow along. A NoiseFX widget is made out of two sections. Let's concentrate on the right section with the sliders first, which is what you will use the most. For example, if you wish to procedurally control the density to resemble pigment turbulence, we select the objects you want to modify and increase the noise slider. By doing so, you can observe how the 3D noise is concentrating pigments in certain parts, making it darker, and diluting colors in other parts, making it brighter. What happens is that the positive and negative values of the noise effects are changing the effect in different ways. For demonstration purposes, let's imagine the noise as a sine function with positive and negative values. When we increase the noise slider, we increase the amplitude of our noise, making the effect variation stronger. If you reduce the noise slider, you make the effect variation smaller. When we change the scale slider instead, we make the noise bigger in 3D space, spacing out the effect changes. If we decrease the scale slider, we make the noise smaller and repeat more often. Scale in 3D is relative, so make sure the world scale in the global nodes is set correctly within your scene for a reasonable default scale within NoiseFX. The last horizontal slider within the NoiseFX widget controls the phase, which moves the noise while keeping its scale and amplitude. This is useful when you just need different noise patterns. The vertical slider in turn shifts the NoiseFX function vertically. This is useful to increase or decrease the effect while still keeping some fluctuations or to remove the effect that negative or positive values may have. If you like the control with NoiseFX, give us a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to our channel with the bell icon to be notified about future tutorials like this. Back to mixing our noises. You might have noticed that the NoiseFX sliders in the tool are all relative and do not have values. This is so that you can select multiple objects in the scene and modify their NoiseFX values together. These values will then change relative to each material's current NoiseFX attribute values, so you can work more effectively and not bother about individual values. That's right, the NoiseFX tool is actually modifying attributes within the Flair material, all of which can be seen in the attribute editor. First, make sure the NoiseFX setting is checked, and then scroll all the way down to open the NoiseFX group containing all the individual NoiseFX values. These names look cryptic as Flair materials support all kinds of effects in different styles. So in case you want to keyframe and animate noise effects, you have to find out which material attribute is being changed by the tool and keyframe it within the material. Just remember that animation within materials can only be seen during playback, when Maya is in DG evaluation mode. Thankfully, we normally don't change noise effects in the attribute editor. With the sliders covered, let's take a look at the buttons on the left section. The spheres are just previews of the effect, but the buttons on the right are of special interest. The first one will reset the NoiseFX values from the effect, allowing you to start from scratch. The second one will toggle the NoiseFX, allowing to see what NoiseFX is changing. The combo box at the bottom lets you change between different noise types, simple being the default simplex noise, and cloud being a fractalized simple noise, similar to the cloud filter in Photoshop. Custom noise is similar to the simple noise, but has a phase without a defined direction. This noise can be used as is or changed by shader writers. Make sure to check out the documentation linked in the description below to learn how to do this or read further into NoiseFX tool. Additionally, if selected materials have different noise types, the combo box will be highlighted red as to make you aware that values will affect different noise types. Phew, that was a lot to cover from one widget. All NoiseFX widgets work the same way though, so once you master how one works, you have mastered them all. With some effects though, it might be difficult to see what NoiseFX is doing to the effect. In that case, you can toggle the View Control Parameters I button on the top left of the tool and slide the effect you want to troubleshoot. This will give you a clear preview of the NoiseFX values that are being rendered. Make sure to untoggle the I button afterwards so that you can focus on the final appearance. To the right of the I button is the Bake 3D button, which toggles the animated settings within Flair materials so that NoiseFX can stick onto animated objects. And with the final button, you can reset all the noise effects on selected objects. Clicking it will prompt a confirmation just in case you clicked it by accident. This was quite some information. We learned how each slider modifies the noise effects, how these values are stored within materials in case you want to keyframe them, how to reset, toggle and change the noise effects type, how to view the noise effects values and bake the 3D positions so that the noise effects follow animated objects. All NoiseFX widgets work the same way, but they modify different effects within the shader style. So the more you use NoiseFX, the better you will get at it. While controlling things procedurally can be quite powerful, sometimes you want to be more precise and change effects only in specific parts of objects. This is where the VertexFX tool comes into play. The most precise level of control that allows us to specify effects on vertices. If you love what we're doing, make sure to purchase a commercial license or become our Patreon to use Flair without resolution limitations and have your name appear in this beautiful list of credits. Thanks for watching, and let's paint some effects in the next one.